Part 1. The painful truth why most people fail financially. Welcome back to the Word on Wealth. Today we confront a reality that many shy away from, yet it is utterly crucial for anyone aspiring to financial freedom and purpose. The painful truth of why most people, despite their best efforts, often fail financially. This isn't just about accumulating wealth. It's about experiencing the peace and potential that wise stewardship unlocks. Look around you, or perhaps even honestly within your own experience. You will likely observe countless individuals who work incredibly hard, often for long hours and with significant dedication. Many earn substantial income, sometimes 6 or even 7 figures annually. Yet, despite this diligent effort and often impressive earnings, they find themselves perpetually struggling. They live paycheck to paycheck, burdened by debt, stressed by market fluctuations, or simply unable to build lasting security and prosperity. Why is this so? Why does traditional hard work, or even a high income, so frequently fall short of delivering true financial flourishing? The answer, profound and often overlooked, lies not in a lack of effort or opportunity, but in a fundamental deficit of knowledge and wisdom. Most conventional approaches to money are built on shaky foundations. They focus on tactics without strategy, on accumulation without purpose, and on immediate gratification without eternal perspective. They teach us what to do: save 10%, invest in a retirement account, but often fail to instill the deeper why and how that lead to sustainable, God-honoring wealth. This truth is encapsulated in a powerful passage from the Old Testament. The book of Hosea, in its 4th chapter, verse 6, declares, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." While this verse primarily addresses spiritual and moral knowledge, its principle extends powerfully into every domain of life, including our finances. We are destroyed, meaning we suffer unnecessary hardship, stagnation, and frustration, not because God withholds blessings, but because we operate without the divine wisdom He has made available. We fail not because we are incapable, but because we lack the foundational principles that lead to success, stability, and significance in our financial journey. This lack of knowledge manifests in various ways. We don't understand the true nature of money. We misinterpret debt. We succumb to consumerism. We neglect the power of compounding, or we simply fail to grasp the divine purpose behind our resources. This isn't about intelligence. It's about access to and application of timeless truths. But there is tremendous hope in this revelation. For if the problem is a lack of knowledge, then the solution is the acquisition and application of true wisdom. And for us, that wisdom is found in God's Word. It is a wisdom that transcends economic cycles and cultural trends. It is a wisdom that provides a framework so robust, so countercultural, and so effective that applying it will enable you to financially outsmart 90% of the people around you. This isn't an exaggeration, it's a testament to the power of God's principles when faithfully applied. Over the course of our time together, we will unveil 7 transformative shifts in perspective and practice. These are not merely tips or tricks, but fundamental changes in how you perceive, manage, and multiply the resources God has placed in your hands. These shifts will empower you to break free from the patterns of financial struggle, move beyond the limitations of conventional thinking, and step into a stewardship that honors God and blesses generations. This journey begins not with complicated financial instruments, but with a renewed mind anchored in biblical truth.
Part 2, Shift 1. Don't chase money, build wisdom first. Our first transformative shift directly addresses the core reason most people struggle financially: an inverted priority. The world around us incessantly whispers, "Chase money." It urges us to pursue every fleeting opportunity, every quick gain, every trending investment. But biblical wisdom offers a profoundly different and far more effective approach. This foundational principle is powerfully articulated in the book of Proverbs, in its 4th chapter, verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and in all you're getting, get understanding. Notice the order here. Wisdom is paramount, the principal thing, meaning it is the most important, the foundation upon which everything else should be built. Money is not the principal thing, wisdom is. This verse reorients our entire perspective. It tells us that our primary pursuit should not be the accumulation of riches, but the acquisition of deep, practical understanding, divine wisdom that informs every financial decision we make. Consider the example of King Solomon, renowned as the wealthiest man who ever lived. When God offered him anything his heart desired, Solomon did not ask for riches or long life or victory over his enemies. Instead, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 3, verses 3 through 9, he humbly requested an understanding heart to judge your people, that I may discern between good and evil. God was so pleased with this request for wisdom that he not only granted it, but also bestowed upon Solomon extraordinary wealth and honor, things he had not even asked for. Solomon's life stands as a living testament to Proverbs 4, verse 7. He prioritized wisdom, and wealth followed as a natural consequence, a blessing. So, how do we practically apply this first shift? How do we build wisdom first? One critical and accessible step is to engage with the book of Proverbs daily. This ancient book of wisdom is a treasure trove of practical advice on money, diligence, integrity, debt, generosity, and financial prudence. Reading just one chapter a day will immerse you in principles that will sharpen your financial discernment. For example, Proverbs warns against idleness and debt, extols hard work, praises careful planning, and highlights the fleeting nature of wealth acquired without integrity. Consistent exposure to these truths will gradually reshape your mindset and decision-making process. Beyond the scriptures, study financial classics and sound economic principles from respected Christian authors and economists. Look for resources that align with biblical values. Learn about compounding, asset allocation, the true cost of debt, the power of saving, and the dynamics of investing. This isn't about chasing the latest market fad, but about understanding timeless principles that govern financial growth and stability. This knowledge, informed by biblical wisdom, becomes a powerful tool. The profound truth here is that wisdom is the currency that truly attracts and sustains wealth. Money without wisdom is often squandered, lost, or becomes a source of anxiety. But wisdom, when applied, opens doors, creates opportunities, protects assets, and guides responsible stewardship. It empowers you to discern good investments from bad ones, to recognize legitimate opportunities from scams, and to manage your resources in a way that truly serves God's purposes. This stands in contrast to the world's approach of chasing fleeting trends, speculating on unproven ventures, or simply hoping for a lucky break. While the world chases money directly, often ending up frustrated and empty-handed, the wise steward first chases understanding and finds that true prosperity often follows, not as an end in itself, but as a resource for God's glory. Make wisdom your principal pursuit and watch how it transforms your financial landscape.
Part 3. Shift 2. See finances as a system, not just a salary. Our second transformative shift calls us to move beyond a limited, short-sighted view of our finances. Many people, even those with good incomes, remain stuck in a paycheck-to-paycheck mentality, viewing their money as a finite stream that barely covers immediate expenses. This perspective traps them in a cycle of consumption, leaving little room for growth, security, or generational impact. This shift challenges us to break free from this narrow view and instead see our finances as a dynamic system, empowered by divine strategy. The book of Deuteronomy, in its 8th chapter, verse 18, provides a profound insight into God's intention for our prosperity. And you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you power to get wealth, that He may establish His covenant which He swore to your fathers, as it is this day.
This verse is crucial. It tells us that God gives us the power to get wealth, not just to receive a salary. This power, often translated as ability or strength, encompasses not merely brute labor, but also the wisdom, insight, and strategic thinking necessary to generate and manage resources effectively. It speaks to intelligence, creativity, and the ability to build and implement systems that bring about lasting prosperity. A prime biblical example of this power to get wealth through strategic systems is found in the story of Joseph, recounted in the book of Genesis. Faced with the prophetic warning of 7 years of abundance followed by 7 years of famine, Joseph did not simply hope for the best. He implemented an extraordinary storehouse system. In Genesis chapter 41, verses 47 through 49, we read how he gathered a fifth of the produce during the abundant years and stored it up in the cities. This was a deliberate, disciplined, long-term strategy, a systematic approach to resource management that extended far beyond his immediate income or the current season. He understood that current abundance was an opportunity to build for future scarcity. From Joseph's example, we gleaned vital principles for seeing our finances as a system. Firstly, automate savings and giving. Just as Joseph systematically collected and stored a portion of the harvest, we should automate our saving of a consistent percentage of our income. This removes the temptation to spend it and ensures that a portion is always being set aside for future security and growth. Similarly, automate your giving, designating a portion to God's work before any other expenses. This acknowledges His sovereignty and prioritizes His kingdom. Secondly, diversify investments beyond immediate income. Joseph didn't just accumulate grain, he organized it into regional storehouses, mitigating risk and ensuring widespread distribution. For us, this means thinking beyond our singular paycheck. It involves exploring various avenues for wealth creation, investing in stocks, bonds, real estate, or even starting a side business. This diversification creates multiple streams of harvest, reducing reliance on any single source, and building resilience into your financial system. Thirdly, plan beyond immediate needs for generational wealth. Joseph's system sustained an entire nation and even surrounding nations for 14 years. His foresight ensured survival and prosperity for generations. Similarly, our financial system should aim to create a legacy that extends beyond our lifetime. This involves not just saving for retirement, but also planning for your children's future, considering charitable endowments, and investing in assets that can be passed down. It's about building a financial framework that blesses your descendants and contributes to God's kingdom long after you're gone. When you shift from seeing money as just a salary to seeing it as a system, you move from reactive spending to proactive stewardship. You transition from hoping for financial stability to strategically building it. This systematic approach, rooted in God's wisdom and empowered by His ability, transforms your $500 from a fleeting resource into a foundational component of a lasting legacy. It truly is the power to get wealth, establishing a covenant of blessing for generations.
Part 4, Shift 3, filter every decision through stewardship. Our third transformative shift calls for a radical reorientation of our decision-making process when it comes to money. The world's primary question regarding finances is often, will this make me money? It's a self-centered inquiry focused solely on personal gain. But for the follower of Christ, this question is insufficient, even misleading. Our third shift is to instead ask that deeper, more profound question, will this honor God? This is the essence of filtering every financial decision through the lens of stewardship. This shift fundamentally alters our perception of money itself. We move from viewing money as solely ours to understanding it as something entrusted to us. The clear biblical teaching, reinforced throughout Scripture, is that all resources are on loan from God. We are not owners, but managers, stewards of His provision. The Lord Jesus Himself illustrates this truth vividly in the parable of the talents. found in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 25, verses 14 through 30. In this parable, a master entrusts varying amounts of money, talents, to 3 servants before going on a journey. Upon his return, he commends the servants who multiplied what they were given and severely rebuked the one who buried his talent out of fear. This parable clearly teaches that God expects us to be faithful and productive with what he entrusts to us, demonstrating diligent and wise management. Our role is to maximize the potential of his resources for his purposes. When we adopt this stewardship mindset, our financial decisions take on an eternal significance. Every choice, whether to spend, save, invest, or give, becomes an act of worship, an opportunity to demonstrate our faithfulness to the Master. To help you practically apply this shift, I propose a simple yet powerful stewardship filter for every financial decision. When considering what to do with your $500 or any sum, ask yourself if the action falls primarily into one of these 3 categories, all of which ultimately honor God. Firstly, protect God's money. This involves safeguarding what has been entrusted to you. Examples include building an emergency fund to cover unexpected expenses, obtaining appropriate insurance to mitigate risk, or paying off high-interest debt that erodes your resources. Protecting your resources demonstrates prudence and ensures you are a reliable steward. Secondly, grow God's money. This aligns directly with the parable of the talents. It means seeking to multiply the resources God has given you through wise and ethical investments. This could be investing in a diversified portfolio, starting a business that creates value, or acquiring skills that increase your earning potential. Growth is not for selfish gain, but to expand your capacity for impact and to have more to deploy for God's kingdom. Thirdly, and crucially, sow God's money. This is where generosity becomes an integral and indispensable part of God's financial system. It means giving sacrificially and joyfully to support the work of the church, missions, and those in need. Generosity is not an afterthought or an optional extra. It is a core principle of biblical stewardship. As the Apostle Paul writes in his 2nd letter to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 6, "He who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully." Sowing money activates a divine principle of blessing and multiplication, acknowledging God as the ultimate source of all wealth. By consistently filtering your financial decisions through this lens, asking, "Will this honor God?" and aligning your choices with protecting, growing, and sowing His money, you will transform your financial life from a pursuit of personal gain to a powerful expression of faith and obedience. This shift is not just about changing what you do with your money, it's about changing why you do it, moving from self-interest to divine purpose.
Part 5. Shift 4. Embrace the power of silence in business and financial interactions. In a world filled with constant noise, immediate demands, and the pressure to always have an answer, our 4th transformative shift encourages a countercultural approach. Embrace the strategic power of silence in business and financial interactions. This isn't about being passive or disengaged. It's about leveraging intentional quietude as a tool for discernment, influence, and wisdom. The book of Proverbs, that wellspring of practical wisdom, speaks directly to this principle. In its 17th chapter, verse 28, it declares, "Even a fool, when he holds his peace, is counted wise, and he who shuts his lips is considered perceptive." This verse highlights a remarkable truth. Silence can elevate one's perceived intelligence and thoughtfulness. It suggests that choosing to be silent, rather than speaking impulsively, can convey a sense of gravitas and wisdom. Consider 2 powerful biblical examples that illustrate the strategic value of silence. Firstly, Joseph's measured silence before Pharaoh, as recorded in the book of Genesis. When brought before Pharaoh to interpret his dreams, Joseph did not immediately blurt out an interpretation or offer unsolicited advice. Instead, he listened intently to Pharaoh's troubled account, absorbed the gravity of the situation, and then, only after careful consideration, offered a comprehensive interpretation and a brilliant strategic plan for the nation's survival. His calm, composed demeanor and deliberate response, punctuated by moments of thoughtful silence, not only gained Pharaoh's trust and credibility, but also elevated him to a position of immense authority. He didn't rush to speak, he waited for divine insight to empower his words. Secondly, and even more profoundly, consider Jesus' silence before Pilate during his trial. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 27, verses 12 through 14, we read that, "When he was accused by the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing." Pilate was astonished by his silence. In a situation where self-preservation would typically dictate a fervent defense, Jesus chose silence. This was not a silence born of weakness, but of profound authority and purpose. It confounded his accusers, demonstrated his sovereignty, and ultimately spoke more powerfully than any words could have. It was a silence that gained an entirely different, eternal kind of credibility. Applying this wisdom to our financial and business dealings offers practical advantages. 1. In negotiations, utilize silence to gather information and encourage the other party to reveal more. When a proposal is made, resist the urge to immediately respond. A brief, thoughtful pause can often prompt the other person to elaborate, clarify, or even improve their offer simply to fill the silence. This allows you to listen more attentively and understand their true position before you commit. 2. In decision-making, embrace silence for reflection and discernment. Before making significant financial commitments or investments, take time for quiet contemplation and prayer. Step away from the immediate pressure. This deliberate pause allows you to process information, weigh consequences, and seek divine guidance, preventing hasty or emotional choices that often lead to regret. 3. Build trust and convey confidence. A person who is calm and composed, who listens more than they speak, and who chooses their words carefully naturally inspires more confidence. This is particularly valuable in client relationships or business partnerships. It communicates maturity, thoughtfulness, and an absence of desperation. Embracing the power of silence is a discipline. It requires patience and self-control. But as Proverbs teaches, it marks a wise person. By intentionally incorporating silence into your financial interactions, you will gain invaluable insights, make more informed decisions, and build stronger, more credible relationships, all while honoring God with a composed and discerning spirit. This silent strength can become a significant competitive advantage.
Part 6, Shift 5, Don't react to markets, respond with faith and strategy. Our fifth transformative shift tackles one of the most destructive tendencies in personal finance, the knee-jerk emotional reaction to market fluctuations and economic shifts. When markets turn volatile, when news reports predict recessions, or when personal finances take an unexpected hit, the natural human inclination is to panic, to make fear-driven decisions that often lead to significant losses. This shift challenges us to move beyond these destructive emotional reactions and instead respond with unwavering faith and calculated strategy. The world around us constantly promotes a reactive mindset. Financial news thrives on sensationalism, designed to provoke immediate emotional responses. This leads many to buy high in times of irrational exuberance and sell low in moments of despair, precisely the opposite of what wise investing dictates. This cycle of emotional reactivity is a primary reason why so many fail to build lasting wealth. Contrast this with the unwavering promise of God found in the book of Isaiah in its 41st chapter, verse 10. "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." This verse is a powerful anchor in turbulent times. It calls us away from fear and toward an abiding trust in God's presence and provision, even when economic landscapes seem uncertain. Consider two potent biblical narratives that illustrate the difference between reaction and faith-driven response. First, Peter walking on water, as described in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 14. Initially, Peter steps out of the boat in faith, walking toward Jesus on the tumultuous sea. But when he takes his eyes off of Jesus and saw that the wind was boisterous, he became afraid and began to sink. His initial faith-filled response turned into a fear-driven reaction to the circumstances, and he immediately lost his footing. This is a profound metaphor for our financial lives. As long as our focus is on Christ and his wisdom, we can navigate the storms. But when we fixate on the boisterous winds of economic news, fear takes over and we begin to sink. Second, consider the wise builder on the rock, from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verses 24 through 27. Jesus teaches that those who hear his words and act on them are like the wise man who built his house on the rock. When the rains came, the floods rose, and the winds blew, the house did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. The foolish builder who built on sand saw his house collapse. This parable emphasizes the critical importance of a stable, faith-based foundation for our financial decisions, a foundation that enables us to withstand economic storms without collapse. Practically, responding with faith and strategy involves two key actions. One, preset financial rules and automate your responses. Before market volatility hits, decide on your investment strategy, your savings rate, and your giving commitments. Automate these actions whenever possible. For example, determine that you will contribute a fixed amount to your investments every month regardless of market performance, dollar cost averaging. Decide in advance that you will not sell off investments during a downturn. This removes the emotional element from the decision-making process, replacing it with a disciplined, predetermined plan rooted in wisdom, not fear. 2. Cultivate composure to seize opportunities others miss. When fear grips the market, many good assets become undervalued. Those who maintain their composure, anchored in faith, are uniquely positioned to recognize and act on these opportunities. This might mean investing more when others are selling, or positioning yourself to provide services that become essential during economic shifts. While others are reacting in panic, you, grounded in God's peace, can respond strategically, often acquiring assets at a discount and setting yourself up for significant future growth. This shift is about trusting God's overarching plan even when the immediate outlook appears grim. It's about remembering that God is sovereign over all markets and all economies. By replacing emotional reactions with faith-driven strategic responses, you will not only protect your wealth, but also position yourself to thrive when others are merely surviving, ultimately bringing glory to God through your steadfast stewardship.
Part 7, Shift 6. Invest in people, not just in profits. Our sixth and final transformative shift challenges a deeply entrenched cultural belief that wealth is solely measured by financial assets and material possessions. While prudent financial management is vital, this shift calls us to redefine true wealth by recognizing the immense, often underestimated value of human capital and relationships. This is to invest in people, not just in profits. The secular world often views people as a means to an end, employees to maximize, customers to extract from, competitors to overcome. But biblical wisdom offers a profoundly different perspective. It teaches us that authentic, lasting prosperity is intricately woven into the fabric of human connection and mutual support. The book of Ecclesiastes, in its 4th chapter, verses 9 and 10, beautifully articulates this principle. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. This passage underscores the inherent strength and resilience found in community and partnership. It reminds us that our journeys, including our financial ones, are more successful and more secure when shared. Consider the ultimate example of investing in people, Jesus' ministry. He spent 3 years of his earthly life pouring into 12 disciples, ordinary men whom he trained, equipped, and empowered. He didn't focus on accumulating earthly riches or building vast financial empires. His primary investment was in people, teaching them, walking with them, and preparing them to carry on his mission. The exponential impact of his ministry, which continues to transform the world 2 millennia later, is a testament to the unparalleled return on investment found in human capital. His legacy is entirely built upon the people he discipled. How do we practically apply this shift to our financial and business lives? Firstly, embrace mentorship, both as a mentor and a mentee. Seek out wise individuals who have navigated financial success and spiritual maturity and humbly ask to learn from them. Their insights, born of experience, are far more valuable than any textbook. Conversely, look for opportunities to mentor others, sharing your knowledge and helping them grow. This exchange of wisdom builds invaluable relational equity. Secondly, cultivate genuine collaboration and partnership. Look for opportunities to work with others, to pool resources, skills, and ideas rather than always operating in isolation. This could mean partnering on a business venture, collaborating on a project, or simply building a network of trusted advisors and colleagues. Authentic collaboration fosters loyalty, innovation, and opens doors that financial capital alone cannot. Thirdly, consider what we might call tithing your time and energy into relationships. Just as we give a portion of our financial resources, invest a portion of your most precious, non-renewable assets, your time and attention, into building strong relationships. This means actively listening, offering support, celebrating successes, and extending grace. These investments yield immense dividends in the form of loyalty, trust, divine favor, and unexpected opportunities. A strong network of people who trust and respect you can open more doors, provide more insights, and offer more resilience during challenges than any sum of money ever could. This shift is about recognizing that wealth in God's economy is holistic. It's about understanding that the blessings of friendship, trust, and mutual support often create opportunities and provide security far beyond what financial capital alone can achieve. When you invest in people, you are investing in God's most precious creation, and you are aligning your financial journey with His eternal values. This approach not only brings deeper satisfaction and purpose, but also positions you for a kind of enduring prosperity that transcends mere profits. It builds a legacy of influence and blessing that truly honors God.
Part 8, Shift 7. Think legacy, not just lifestyle. Our final and perhaps most profound transformative shift challenges us to elevate our perspective beyond immediate gratification and personal comfort. It is to move from a short-sighted focus on present lifestyle to an expansive, multi-generational vision of legacy. This shift invites us to consider how our financial stewardship today can create a lasting impact that blesses future generations and advances God's kingdom long after we are gone. In our consumer-driven society, the overwhelming pressure is to spend on experiences and possessions that enhance our current lifestyle. We are bombarded with messages that encourage us to live for the moment, to acquire, to indulge. While there is certainly joy to be found in the present, an exclusive focus on lifestyle can blind us to the far greater potential of our resources to build something enduring, something truly meaningful. The book of Proverbs, in its 13th chapter, verse 22, succinctly captures this legacy mindset. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. This verse is far more than an endorsement of financial accumulation. It speaks to the wisdom and foresight of a righteous person who considers not just their direct descendants, but their children's children, 2 generations beyond our own. This inheritance encompasses not merely monetary assets, but also values, wisdom, and a spiritual heritage. It is the fruit of disciplined, purposeful stewardship. Let us explore 2 towering biblical figures who epitomize this legacy mindset. First, consider Abraham, the father of faith, as depicted throughout the book of Genesis. Abraham's entire life was a journey of faith, driven by a promise that extended far beyond his personal comfort or immediate gain. God promised him land, descendants, and that through him all the families of the earth would be blessed. Abraham often lived as a sojourner, owning very little of the land promised to him. Yet he lived with a profound awareness of a future inheritance, not just for himself, but for generations upon generations. He understood that his purpose was to establish a covenant, a spiritual legacy that would unfold over centuries. His decisions, including his financial ones, were consistently filtered through this long-term covenantal vision. He didn't build for an opulent personal lifestyle, but for a promised future. Second, consider King David, whose story unfolds in the books of Samuel and Chronicles. While David was a powerful king who amassed significant wealth, his ultimate financial focus was not on building an extravagant palace for himself, but on accumulating vast resources for the construction of the temple, a project he would not even live to see completed. In the first book of Chronicles, chapter 29, verse 2, David declares, "Now for the house of my God I have prepared with all my might, gold for things to be made of gold, silver for things to be made of silver, bronze for things to be made of bronze, iron for things to be made of iron, and wood for things to be made of wood. Onyx stones, stones to be set, glittering stones of various colors, all kinds of precious stones, and marble stones in abundance." He understood that his wealth was ultimately for God's glory and for the benefit of future generations who would worship in that sacred space. His vision transcended his lifetime, focusing on a holy purpose that would stand for centuries. Practically, embracing a legacy mindset involves several key steps. 1. Establish legal instruments for generational transfer. This includes drafting a well-thought-out will and potentially establishing trusts to ensure that your financial assets are distributed according to your wishes and biblical values. These legal documents are not just about protecting your estate, they are acts of responsible stewardship that provide clarity and guidance for your descendants. 2, and perhaps most importantly, impart biblical financial values to the next generation. A purely financial inheritance without a spiritual one can often be a curse rather than a blessing. Teach your children and grandchildren the principles of diligent work, wise stewardship, generous giving, and dependence on God. Share stories of biblical figures, discuss your own financial journey, and model these values in your daily life. This intangible inheritance of wisdom and character is far more valuable than any sum of money. 3. Plan for your wealth to create lasting impact beyond your immediate family. Consider establishing endowments for charitable organizations, supporting missions, or funding educational initiatives that align with your values and contribute to God's kingdom for years or even decades after your passing. By choosing to think legacy, not just lifestyle, you elevate your financial stewardship from a personal concern to a powerful instrument of God's redemptive plan. You move beyond fleeting pleasures to enduring purpose, creating a ripple effect of blessing that extends across generations and brings lasting glory to our faithful God. This shift transforms your $500 from a transient expense into a foundational seed for a profound multi-generational impact. Part 9. Applying the 7 shifts, your call to action. We have now journeyed through 7 profound biblical shifts that can revolutionize your relationship with money, transforming it from a source of anxiety or an end in itself into a powerful tool for honoring God and building His kingdom. Let us briefly recap these essential principles. First, we learn to shift from scarcity to abundance, trusting God as our ultimate provider, remembering His promise to meet our needs. Second, we move to shift from consumerism to contentment, finding true satisfaction not in endless acquisition, but in gratitude for what God has already provided. Third, we committed to shift every decision through stewardship, asking, will this honor God, rather than, will this make me money? And deploying resources to protect, grow, and sow. Fourth, we embraced the power of silence in business, recognizing its strategic value for discernment, influence, and building trust. Fifth, we resolved to not react to markets, but respond with faith and strategy, anchoring ourselves in God's promises during volatility and seizing opportunities with composure. Sixth, we were challenged to invest in people, not just in profits, understanding that true wealth includes the invaluable asset of relationships, mentorship, and collaboration. And finally, seventh, we learned to think legacy, not just lifestyle, aspiring to build lasting impact that blesses future generations and advances God's purposes beyond our own lifetime. These 7 shifts are not mere theoretical concepts. They are living principles, divine wisdom imparted for our flourishing. But knowledge without corresponding action is ultimately wasted. The Apostle James in his epistle, chapter 1, verse 22, reminds us, "But be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves." To truly experience the transformative power of these shifts, you must apply them. So your call to action today is this: choose to break the old cycles. Break free from the reactive patterns of fear, the insatiable pull of consumerism, and the isolation of self-interest. Make a conscious, faith-filled decision to align your financial life with God's design. Choose to respond with faith, even when circumstances tempt you to panic. Let your trust in God's provision be the bedrock upon which all your financial decisions are built. Choose to invest in people, intentionally building relationships, mentoring others, and collaborating for mutual benefit. See the faces of your colleagues, clients, and community as opportunities for divine connection. Choose to think in terms of legacy, considering how your decisions today will echo through generations, building something greater and more enduring than fleeting pleasure. As you step forward, declare with faith, "I will be a wise and faithful steward of every resource God entrusts to me. I will live in abundance, practice contentment, filter every decision through stewardship, leverage the power of silence, respond with faith and strategy, invest in people, and always think legacy." This is not just about managing money. It is about living a life of purpose, power, and profound impact. It's about letting your finances become a testament to God's faithfulness and wisdom. May you embrace these shifts wholeheartedly, and may your financial journey be a glorious testament to His grace.
Part 10. Reign, Multiply, Steward, Your Divine Calling. As we conclude this profound exploration of biblical money shifts, I want to leave you with a renewed understanding of your intrinsic identity and purpose. Your financial journey, indeed your entire life, is not merely about surviving or even just thriving. It is about fulfilling a divine calling, a mandate given to humanity from the very beginning. It is a call to reign, multiply, and steward God's resources with power and purpose. From the dawn of creation, as recorded in the book of Genesis, in its first chapter, verses 26 through 28, God declared, "Then God said, 'Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth.' So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, 'Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth.'" This is your original foundational calling. To have dominion, to subdue, is to reign, not with oppressive worldly power, but with responsible, loving authority as God's representatives. It means to bring order, cultivate beauty, and manage wisely the earth and its resources. To be fruitful and multiply extends beyond biological reproduction. It speaks to the exponential increase of all good things, ideas, influence, wisdom, and yes, even well-managed financial resources, all for His glory. And underpinning all of this is the call to steward, to care for, to grow, and to deploy what has been entrusted to you, recognizing that it all belongs to God. This divine calling fundamentally rejects the notion that a believer's financial life is meant for mere survival. God's intention for His children is not to live in perpetual scarcity, barely scraping by, or constantly in a defensive posture against economic forces. Instead, He calls us to operate from a position of power and purpose, understanding that we are conduits of His blessing and instruments of His kingdom. Consider the parable of the talents, found in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 25, verses 14 through 30. The master entrusts his servants with varying amounts of money. He expects them not merely to hold on to what they've been given, but to actively invest and multiply it. The servant who hid his single talent out of fear was condemned, while those who diligently multiplied their talents were commended. This parable powerfully illustrates that God expects us to be productive stewards, using our resources to generate more, not just for ourselves but for His purposes. He desires for us to live lives that demonstrate His abundance, not our own limitations. The 7 shifts we have discussed are not just good financial advice. They are practical expressions of this divine mandate to reign, multiply, and steward. They empower you to move beyond fear, beyond self-interest, and into a sphere of influence where your financial decisions actively glorify God and bless humanity. The time for passive observation, for merely hearing these truths, is over. The time for indecision and procrastination must end. Your transformation begins with an immediate, resolute decision. Choose today to break free from the old patterns that have held you captive. Choose to dismantle the mindset of scarcity and embrace God's limitless abundance. Decide right now to replace emotional reactions with faith-driven responses. Commit right now to viewing your finances, your business, your career, not as separate entities, but as integrated aspects of your divine calling. Make an immediate decision to implement these shifts one by one, step by step. Begin today to apply the principles of contentment, strategic stewardship, intentional silence, faith-filled response, investment in people, and a profound legacy mindset. We promise you, with the authority of God's Word, that as you faithfully embrace this divine calling to reign, multiply, and steward, your financial future will be profoundly transformed. It will become a future that not only provides for your needs and fulfills your purpose, but one that honors God in every transaction, every investment, and every act of generosity. It will be a future that impacts generations, breaking cycles of lack and establishing a legacy of blessing for your children's children, all for the glory of our Heavenly Father. Go forth then, not just as financial managers, but as powerful stewards, reigning over your resources with wisdom, multiplying your influence for good, and stewarding God's blessings with divine purpose.